yourselves comfortable. So it's good to see y'all again. Our focus this week is working guard sweeps. The guard is kind of the position that makes jiu-jitsu unique. It's our ability to fight off of our back. And we're focused on the closed guard this week. Our main guard sweeping concept is that we're going to look to access a lever on our opponent's body and then shift their center of gravity to make them fall over so that we can get to a top position. Last class, we looked at our scissor sweep. This is one of your bread and butter sweeps from the guard. This is kind of from the guard position. This is like a mid-range sweep, right? Because we have them in that sort of Goldilocks zone of not too far away, not too close, enabling us to get our knee frame up to then sweep them over with the legs. What we're going to look at today, though, is going to be a slightly closer ranged closed guard sweep, and this is going to be the flower sweep. This actually goes by a lot of different names: the pendulum sweep, the flower sweep, the windmill sweep. We think flower sweep sounds the coolest, so that's the name that we like to use. I'll explain the name in a second, but I'd like to demonstrate the sweep first. Again, guys, I want us to start with the guard pull. Let's make sure that we're pulling guard aggressively so that we can immediately set up our sweeps and get to a dominant spot. Alrighty, guys, so I'll demonstrate the flower sweep from the top. Here we go. So I've swept my partner from the closed guard, and I've gotten directly to the mount. That's a little bit of a difference from what we did last class. So let's take a look. So with the flower sweep, first the name, it's called a flower sweep because the motion of our legs are going to kind of spiral open, which makes it almost look like a flower blooming, opening up. That's where the name comes from. But let's go ahead and look at it from the top. So I'm going to start the exact same way. Good grappling stance. Okay, I'm covering my legs. I'm going to look to get my grips. Guys, remember, your stance sets the pace and the tone of the match. All right, if I'm standing lazy or with poor alignment, then my partner's going to take advantage of that, and I'm going to be on the back foot. So I need to start off right from the get-go in a good stance here. When I'm getting my grips, the more comfortable I can get with, I used the word jabbing the last class to get my grips, the better my grips are going to be. We can't just assume that our partner's going to be a sort of stone wall and let us just slowly reach out and grab them. They don't want you to control their body, so they're going to be intercepting your grips. So again, the way I want us to drill this is with a little bit more gusto, a little bit more intensity. Instead of just reaching out slowly, it's like I'm throwing a jab to get that grip on the collar. And then I'm really reaching out and trying to get that solid sleeve grip as well. Okay, so not slow motion. Boom, throw those hands out, get those grips. Once I have my grips again, we're going to look for that guard pull. So sleeve grip side, that foot's going to step on the hip. That's my frame to control the descent as I get down to the mat. Once I'm here, I continue to use a rowing motion with my arms as my hips shoot up and I catch them in the closed guard. Now, what we looked at last class was our scissor sweep, which was more of a mid-range sweep. Our partner had relatively decent posture, like Coach Seth right here, which enabled us to start to hip out and get our leg up into their chest. What we're going to look at tonight, though, is slightly closer range. This is going to start with us actually breaking their posture down. This is something we always want to try to look for when we're attacking from the closed guard, breaking our opponent's posture. So to do this, I'm going to use my hand that's on the collar, my sleeve grip, and my knees to pull all at once, bringing my partner closer to me. My feet being crossed are essential here because that's creating a closed loop around his body to allow me to access his spine as a lever to pull him forward. So I'm going to pull everything and break his posture. If I get his hands on the mat, this is a great indication that I can attack a flower sweep. So unlike our scissor sweep, in a flower sweep, I'm actually going to let go of the collar because we're going to be switching our grips from the collar down to a pant grip. We'll do a rotation here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So again, I'm breaking his posture. I want to get his hands on the mat. And most importantly, I want to get his weight off of his legs. So notice how when I pull, you see how his butt lifts off of his heels just slightly? That's our trigger for attacking the flower sweep. Once I have this pull, my hand's going to reach down and I'm going to grab right at the very bottom of the pants. If I have trouble grabbing, I'm just going to do a slight oblique crunch so I can grab the pant grip here. Let's talk quickly about pant grips, guys. I'm not allowed to stick my fingers inside of the pant grip here. This is, number one, dangerous because if my fingers are locked inside of his leg, as he goes to break the grip and kick his leg out, that's dangerous for your fingers. But this is actually, believe it or not, an illegal grip. You're not allowed to grab like this in competition. So all we do instead is we slap their ankle and we bundle it up. So I'm just grabbing the material right here on the side of the pants, on the outside, just like this. Now, once I have this pant grip, what do I have? Lever control. So I'm gonna be using this in a second. But the first thing I need to do is start to shift his center of gravity, just like we talked about for our sweeping concept. To do that, I'm gonna take my left foot on the far side and I'm gonna plant it. I'm using that foot to just embrace his bottom knee. I'll show this from a different side in a second. I'm now gonna take my right foot and I'm going to bring my leg up into his armpit as I start to extend my leg over his shoulders. Notice how this is breaking his posture even further, but shifting his center of gravity in a different direction. Now we get to the pant grip detail. As I start to stomp this foot over, I'm gonna start to lift his leg up off the ground. This is why we needed to keep his weight off of his leg, to make this leg lighter. Now, all I'm gonna do is continue to stomp my right foot as I push this leg up, 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 coming up on active toes and an active elbow to finish straight in the mount. Notice there was no intermediary position where I was off of him and I had to defend the guard to stop him from bringing the legs back up. There was no position where that was required because I can just ride straight up to the top position and keep my hips centered above his. I maintain that arm, then we can start to attack the arm bar later. So let's see this from the other angle. I'll show you what my leg is doing again. So we'll start on the feet. Again, good guard pull. So I'm defending my legs. I jab out, get my grips, step, and pull guard. Okay, from here, I break his posture a little bit. Don't go ham with it though, right? Don't try to like face plant him right down over your head, okay? Be chill, right? Control is the first piece of technique, so I need to use control. So I tuck my knees, pull my hands towards me. This is all I'm looking for. I let go of the collar, reach down and grab the pants. Notice how, again, I do a slight oblique crunch, just to get a little bit more reach, but also to get my body out of the direction that he's gonna fall in. Once I'm here, my left foot is just gonna drop, similar in concept to how we use the leg in the scissor sweep. But instead of that knee being on the mat, it's gonna stay up. So again, I'm using my heel to encompass his knee, so he can't start to step this leg up. If he stands with this leg, I'm not gonna be able to sweep him because this is a strong kickstand or a post, and it's matching the force vector that I'm gonna be applying to him. So I wanna keep my foot on the mat so I can block that leg. My left hand. This hand needs to be actively controlling his arm. So I can do this in one of two ways. I can keep his wrist pinned to my hip, or I can go like I'm starting a chainsaw and pull it up towards my shoulder. Either option works fine. Just make sure that you're dominating this grip here. Don't let his hand hover, because again, what is this? A post, which he's using to absorb the fall. So I'm pulling that hand towards me. Now, I'm gonna take my leg, I'm gonna swing it up. Think of it like you're kicking him in the armpit. Don't just swing it into his ribs. I wanna bring his head over my shoulder. So I'm going to kick up, and now as I stomp the mat, here comes his leg. Lift it. Keep rolling. Look at my active toes here on the left foot, guys. I'm gonna continue to roll. If he lands on top of my leg, it's no big deal. I just wanna make sure that I keep my heel close to my butt so I can get my foot out. I'm gonna continue to rotate, 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 building up on my elbow, finishing in the mount. Once I'm here, we don't need that pant leg anymore. We can start to attack our positions from here. Alrighty guys, let's look at that again. I'll show it one more time from the front without talking. Here we go. So it's a pretty dynamic movement, right? It looks essentially like I'm rolling over, but we have to make sure that we're creating alignment breaks on our opponent's body to make us efficient at rolling them over. I'm not just trying to overpower them. If you only use strength, when you go against someone who's used to strength, your strength's not gonna be worth anything, right? You need to focus on creating positive technique so that you can sweep anybody regardless of size or strength. All right, I'll show one more time. We'll do it from a slight angle again. Okay, last one without talking. And again, finishing the mount. Does anybody have any questions on your flower sweep? So you notice how my legs, if I pantomime, my legs are kind of blossoming open. to allow me to roll him over. All right, guys, let's give this one a try. On two, 1, 2. I'd like to continue working some more details now, adding in some extra things that we can do at the end and troubleshooting a couple of the issues that we saw kind of like in the middle part. So first things first, guys, guard pull's looking good. I want to make sure that when we're pulling, we're really trying to create that frame on their hip. All right, and I want to stress why this is so important. If I were to just grab Coach Seth and sit straight down to my butt, nothing is stopping him from essentially just doing a leapfrog over my knees, okay, and just sitting straight down in the mount. We call that pulling mount. And it's a joke, right? We don't want you to pull mount, right? We don't want you to pull side mount. We want to make sure you're pulling guard, okay? It's the same reason as why I'm not using this right leg to step on the hip. If I use this right leg to step on the hip, I'm not controlling that hand. So if he grabs my leg, now I'm pulling side mount. He puts me right into side mount or knee on belly or whatever, but I'm pulling to a negative bottom position. So I want to make sure that when I pull, I'm stepping with the side of the sleeve grip. So my left hand's holding this arm, so I have control of this hand. My left foot can step on his hip and create a strong frame so that once I fall, I'm stiff-legging him. He's not going to be able to just jump over my legs and go to the mount or side mount. I'm creating a frame to hold his body weight. So let's really focus on trying to get that foot. It doesn't have to be sort of like a pistol squat. I don't have to necessarily be able to like slowly descend. Again, I'm kind of spiraling. I'm just kind of like dropping to my back as that foot's coming up. So again, once I get into the guard position here though, so I'm in my low stance, I grip up, so I pull, and I get to close guard. We're breaking the posture very nicely. A couple things that I want you guys to be on the lookout for. After I pull and break his posture down, I can't sit here for too long. So with my hands in this position for too long. This is just a telltale sign that I'm going to do the flower sweep. There's not very many sweeps that require you to grab the sleeve and the pants. So if I just do this, hey-ya, you're going down, dude. Right, it's just, I'm showing my cards, okay? So again, the second I break his posture, I'm grabbing. You see, I'm not letting him sort of see what my play is going to be. Additionally, I want to stress the importance of controlling the sleeve and the opposite leg. We have a concept in jiu-jitsu called rotational control. Rotational control is simply taking an object and using its ability to rotate to control how your opponent can rotate. So what we're doing is we're getting opposite corner rotational control. So I'm controlling two levers on opposite corners of his body. This is very powerful because it allows me to rotate him in two different directions. I almost think of it like I'm holding a steering wheel, and I can kind of turn and rotate and kind of drive him to either side. So again, we break the posture. I'm getting opposite corner rotational control. Now again, I'm blocking his knee with my heel, and watch this right foot, guys. I don't want to kick him in the rib cage. I was saying this to a couple groups. If I'm going to open a door, I'm not going to open the door at the hinges. I'm going to open the door at the handles or the furthest point of the lever to allow me to create the most force generation, right? So I'm not going to try to push this hip and try to push him over on his hips. He's not going to budge. I want to get my foot high up close to his head here. You see, now I'm accessing the end of the lever. If his spine is the lever I'm trying to shift, I want to keep my leg at the top of his spine. Okay, keeping this hand close to me. I find personally it's easiest to just keep their hand on my hip bone. Okay, this is the way I like to attack the flower sweep. I'm just going to use whatever I can to not let him post his hand. Okay, some people prefer to like pull it up high. That's fine. I find it's not very comfortable on my shoulders. I don't like that feeling on my shoulders. So I just focus on keeping it tight to my rib cage. I kick, and then as I'm stomping, I'm pulling his leg out from underneath him, riding up to the top spot, boom, finishing on top. Okay? Once we're in the mount here, guys, we have the arm control. If you're familiar, please go ahead, set up the arm bar. Okay? Again, I'm trading it off. I'm sliding both my legs quickly up into S mount, collecting the arm, and finishing the arm bar. If you're not familiar, don't worry about it. Let's just continue to work on that flower sweep in isolation, and then we'll connect some more dots. Okay, guys? So I'll show one more time from the top. So again, I'm in my good stance here. I grip up. I pull, whoom. I'm back to guard. Break the posture, and remember, be quick. As soon as I break, boom, my hands are down, ready to sweep him. It might take you a couple goes. I might have to do 1, and he sits back up. Okay, dang. Let me try it again. 2, he sits back up. Maybe this time we'll be faster on the draw. 3, and there it is, boom. Right, it may take you a couple tries. That's fine, okay? Remember, you have the dominant position. You have the closed guard. So use that. Now, once I'm here, if you're familiar, you can attack whatever submission, armbar. If you remember your Americana, you can attack the Americana. If you remember your head arm choke, you can attack the head arm choke. I want you guys to just feel comfortable playing with finishing a submission at the end, okay? Attack something, all right? Don't just sit here and be like, and done, okay? You have a dominant position, use it, attack, do something, okay guys? So let's do one more quick round of reviewing that flower sweep. Quick grips, making sure that we're kicking at the top of the armpit. Just a quick note, if their armpit isn't available, so, you know, a lot of good people will keep their elbows in tight. So, you know, I'll break them down, and they'll, here, and as I bring them over, look, his elbow's in tight. My thigh cannot get to his armpit. No problem. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my thigh to access a frame. What's the frame? His bicep, his arm, his bone right here. I'm using this frame to now push him over. So if I can't actively or directly access the end of the lever here with my leg, I'm going to use proxy control to get it. So I'm going to use his arm or his shoulder to push him over here. So again, I'm going to bring that leg up regardless if that frame is there or not. Ideally, I want to get in the armpit, but if it's not available, just bring it right up. Boom, same thing. Come up to the top spot. Okay, guys? If you find yourself getting stuck here in this position, just remember, it's okay to push the legs away and then use that butterfly hook that we looked at last class. It's okay to work the side control or side positions if you're more comfortable. Alrighty, guys? Let's continue to work the flower sweep. Any questions? All right, guys, let's get to work. 1, 2.